Hi guys, welcome back to the Cultured Corner. I am Ebony Omolara, the founder of Cultured Waste, which is a waste feed company where we encourage basically I don't want to just say women empowerment anymore because there's so many things that falls under that. And it's not that any of them are right or wrong, but here specifically it's about being true to yourself. And for some weird reason, there's just like a false standard of who a woman should be, and there's no actual standard because all of us are individual. And what waste beads are for is about allowing yourself to be unique, about really trusting and giving yourself the authority in your life to decide who you want to be, how you want to show up, and things like that. I feel like...
Wait, hold on. There's no one in the live.
Yeah.
So you can only do the flash sales for 20 minutes.
Okay.
So we can do it 50% off, but it's only for 20 minutes.
If anything, we'll just do that after, like during the Boxing Day sale. Actually, I'll use that mainly. Okay. Because I'm going to change the prices anyway.
No worries.
So that's fine. But in terms of giving yourself permission, so if you take this, sorry. I'll watch this. Your needle thread is here. We have Winnie joining us today.
Hi.
So you can introduce yourself because it's going to go on YouTube after for the replay.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Winnie and I'm joining Ebony today so that we can talk through self-healing and beads, and make some beads as well at the same time, which is quite fun because I've never made beads before. I'm going to learn how to make them today, so that's quite cool. Oh, that looks nice. That's how it looks.
It does.
There's 4 people who've joined us. Hi everyone.
Hello everyone. We're making waste beads and we're going to be speaking about healing. I'd love for you guys to get involved with the conversation. Even though I can't actually reach the comments and see them, I am going to look through them after. Okay, yeah, that's true. We can see it on Winnie's phone.
Watch it on my phone.
So, what I wanted to talk about today, I feel like it's not easy because in my head I just feel wrong and I've just accepted feeling bad and feeling guilty about it. But today was the first day I was like, I'm not going to feel guilty anymore for choosing myself and putting myself first. And this is after having a conversation with a woman in my family who, the conversation was about her telling me to put myself first. But then whenever I spoke up about the ways in which I wanted to put myself first, it's like, oh, no, you can't do that. Because it doesn't align with what they want from me. Because it means that you will no longer have access to me. It means that I'm no longer listening to everything that you kind of imposed on me as rules of who I should be. And now that I'm stepping out of them and it's uncomfortable for you, it doesn't work anymore. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even show you. So basically the needle opens up and I put the thread on. Then you put your beads on, and you put it down and it will go into here.
Oh, so I was going to say, beads through the needle.
Did I thread the needle for you?
Yeah, I think there's thread here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So literally you put the beads on this end of the needle.
And then put it down.
And they'll line up there and then you pull them down and they'll go into the string.
Okay, let me
so
try.
I was going to say you can either use, I'm going to do literally like one each in like a pattern. Or you can mix some colours in here and then just do like a random mixed one.
Okay, so let me just try this. Gosh, this is better than knitting. I tried to do knitting and I was like, no. I tried to do it when I stopped smoking, but it was actually going to make me start smoking again. It's so stressful. I'm like, no way, I cannot do this.
It's actually true. I tried to start knitting when I was at uni. Didn't.
No, I was like, this is asking for me to smoke. There's no way I'm going to do this.
I rate them, I'll be real.
Okay, so that's gone through. And then do I just push it down?
Yeah. So you can literally stack a couple up on here and then pull them down after.
Okay, cool. Alright, so I keep it on top of... So do I need to fold this around a little bit? Oh no, just keep it here and then put it down.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Alright.
Literally that.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to have this conversation maybe. Because
what's the conversation?
I'm still figuring it out. I don't know. I'm like, what is it actually that I want to say without sounding horrible? But every woman is allowed to choose for herself, and I don't feel like any of us, no matter how far or near, I guess, we are from where we once were on our healing and growth journey, should feel like we have the right answer for another person. But I come from a family of very entitled women who feel like what they do to me and what they've done to me since a very young child is complain to me about everything in their life and then give me life advice.
Yeah, I think it's hard to heal from people who haven't healed.
Yeah.
Because you're in two different places, you know, and they don't know where you're at in your journey.
That's true.
So they can't support you. And I had this instance, like, there was somebody that I looked up to, and then I think when I kind of started healing in my own way, I realised that they hadn't completely healed. So it's really hard to then take advice from that person because you're like, oh my God, you're still in it. Like,
yeah.
So, and I think that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. And I feel like I swallowed that pill a couple of years ago. And that's when I slowly started distancing myself. And it's that thing where now they're inviting me back around because it's like, well, Ebony doesn't talk to anybody and Ebony doesn't want to be everyone and Ebony's being disrespectful. So I've come back around and I haven't asked for life advice. I haven't anything. They don't even know the half of what is actually going on in my reality right now.
Yeah, but that's coming from their own place of not healing. Not necessarily from...
That's why I said it's like entitled. You just feel like you need to tell me what to do because you're uncomfortable with what you're saying to me. My family want me to shut up. That's the bottom line of everything. Ebony never used to speak about anything and now she's online opening her mouth.
Yeah, it makes people uncomfortable, and also we haven't grown up in communities where people have been so vocal about their feelings and about how they feel and things that have happened to them. A lot of these things have just been buried.
Yeah. And
it can almost feel like, well, who do you think you are? Because I went through the same challenges. I didn't, whatever. And it's like, how dare you feel like you can express yourself? And
that's what they think. I have this like huge ego of why should everybody care about your life, and I'm like, I didn't say that. It just I don't know, man.
And that's why whenever I think about like healing, blackness, black women, it's generational.
It is.
It's not just a one size fits all. It's not one person. It's lineages.
That's the point. I can see how my auntie's attitude towards me is directly from my grandma's. Like directly. And even the places where she wants to, even places where she wants to grow out of what she's experiencing now, because she's now going through something that I could potentially go through, but I've already told myself I'm saying no. So it's like she doesn't feel like she has a choice, and me saying I have a choice or me displaying that I have a choice by saying no is disrespectful to her, because then it shows that you're making the choice to say yes even though you feel like you have to and the pressure's there and all of that. Like one of those pressures is every time I come around, like I went to my grandma's the other day, and then a couple of cousins and my siblings and stuff ended up coming as well. And she was like, Ebony, see, look what happens when you come around. Everybody starts coming. And I'm like, but...
You're not responsible
Thank
for
you.
creating that environment.
That's the point.
And
then
you can't be expected to
my whole life she's done
maintain it, because what if you can't be bothered that day?
That's what I'm trying to say. It's that was the first thing. The second thing was all your younger cousins and your younger siblings, like they're looking up to you, da da da. And my auntie was like, don't put that pressure on her. And that's when I kind of understood that she might understand where I'm coming from a little bit. But then there's that aspect of I am very inspirational because of all the stuff that I go through and how I never give up on what I'm doing and all of that. And that makes her uncomfortable too. And then the last one was the worst one. And I don't even really want to speak about this, but I've spoken to... So I have half... All my siblings on my dad's side are half. And then I don't have any full siblings. Mm-hmm. So I have a brother who I got separated from when I was 6, 7, and he was 3. Mm-hmm. And then when he was 19, I messaged his mom on Facebook, and then we met again. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only person in the family that has contacts with him. Okay. Every time I go back to the family, they're like, "Oh, Ebony, you're the only one who can introduce us."
Why did you?
So I said, I will try. I was speaking to him. He said he's not interested. I said, I don't blame you. I'm not being funny because I didn't even want to bring him into that kind of toxic environment anyway. Then they did it again. So I gave them my brother's mom's number, and then I spoke to her, and she was kind of like, "No." Then I experienced this like immense guilt for days. Like I couldn't sleep. I couldn't anything because it's like, am I causing a wedge between my family because of the things that I've experienced with them? Yeah. Because by the time I've come back into my brother's life, I'm by myself. I'm doing everything on my own. Like I was living on my own in Coventry, and he used to come up there to see me, and he saw all of that. So he never really. Yeah. Got the vibe that we have a supportive family anyway. Yeah. So. Yeah.
That happens.
It's just that. The other thing is that when I was growing up, my dad used to tell me we don't see my brother because of me. Because he decided that he was going to take care of me and not take care of him. My dad is not a man who takes responsibility, which is the reason why he wasn't allowed to see his son. My mum nearly did the same thing with me, but because she got mentally ill, my dad had to take me in, otherwise I would have ended up in care. And this is how he communicated it to me. I didn't want to, but what was I supposed to do? So again, that like space of someone wants me around or people want to know how I feel, it's never been there. So I had to create it for myself in this way, and them trying to take it away from me, but it just feels like it's on purpose.
And I also feel like when you haven't had that, how do you even create it, and how do you know if you're creating it properly?
I don't know if I'm doing this properly, if I'm coming online and being messy and being like, you know what happened to me, you know what these people said. That's why it's true. All the time I'm like, okay, watch it back. Am I just overspilling? Am I oversharing? Or am I actually helping somebody who might be in the same situation? Because being in it, you feel very alone. It feels like nobody cares. It feels like everybody's just... And that's the worst part. So everybody's like, oh, you just have to deal with the things that you've been through. But then everything that they're going through, they want to put it on me. Because I've always had that listening ear. Yeah. And without the judgment and without the this, but then I don't get that same thing in return.
It's hard. Yeah. People treat you how they want to be treated. People don't treat you how they want to be treated. They expect you to treat them how they want to be treated.
Exactly.
So the world is...
It's weird. It's because I don't live with that kind of entitlement. Like, I know the energy I put out, I'm going to get back. And maybe I kept thinking if I keep on showing them love and I keep on showing them grace and forgiveness the way that they've taught me to, then maybe they're going to do the same back. But it just didn't happen, and I guess now I'm in this space of, okay, live for me then.
Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel sometimes as well. Well, it's how I've been feeling a lot recently. I think it's easy to... Yeah, sometimes I think especially for me, when you're trying to, I don't know, be a good person and like practice your faith, it can put you in situations and circumstances that you don't want to be in, and dealing with people in the way that you don't even want to be honest.
Yeah. My family have done this to me a lot. My grandma does it all the time. Well, I'm a person of God, so that's why I'm going to deal with it this way. I don't know how you move, Ebony. And it's like, this is why I kind of embraced doing... I feel like that's what allowed me to keep on smoking for so long, because it's just like I don't care anymore. if I'm bad, if I'm good, if I'm this, if I'm that. And that got into that unhealthy space of I don't even care if I'm well, because it's like no one's business is anyway.
But
It's
smoking
only
helps you
through.
escape, so in that moment you're not thinking,
That's the
you're
point.
not like feeling it. That's one of the things, like for me, I used to smoke, I stopped smoking this year,
Yeah.
and the first thing that I realised was that I had to feel everything.
Mhm.
Like, you just feel everything, and it's just like there's no escape.
I
Because
know.
before you could just like, you know, go smoke and then.
That as soon as I've tried to stop smoking a couple times this year. I think the most I've done is like a week and a half.
Oh really?
But I'm in tears, in pieces, and I'm like, I can't do this. And I go straight back to it just so that I can show up.
Yeah, you cry a lot. I wrote a list of like 30 things that happen when you stop smoking, and crying is on there because you run away from the pain. You know, you suppress the pain. So once you can't suppress that pain, you feel it and it hurts and you cry.
That's true.
You just cry, that's all you can do. So I don't even feel guilty about crying anymore because I'm like, really, either you cry or you go back to smoking.
That's it. I have to
Pick your poison.
cry, honestly. I feel like that's one of the reasons why my mum gave it to me, because from young, nobody could take my tears. Like I said, when I was born, my parents were 17 and 19, and they are not patient people. So
they were quite young as well.
Yeah. All I remember is every time I cry, I feel bad. Like, I will say sorry. I was in a meeting the other day and I burst into tears.
Wow.
And I was just crying. And I'm like, sorry. And he's like, why are you saying sorry? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'll be alright. Like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. It is hard, and I think crying lets you get stuff out. And I think sometimes also you don't realise how much pain there is.
Yeah. It's definitely that as well.
Until you start working through it, because there's so much, like, for me, I've realised that sometimes a lot of these things, it's like a web. It's like one part ties to another part, ties to another part, ties to another part.
Definitely.
And it's almost like dealing with all of those different webs as they kind of untangle themselves.
Exactly.
And sometimes you just cry at the fact that you're in this big massive web and you're just like, why?
Yeah. And until you
like, this is so much for one person.
I know as soon as I yank that first thing, the whole web is gonna start unraveling.
Exactly. And you're like, this is just so much for one person.
Honestly.
So yeah, it is hard, like, healing through difficult experiences and trauma, and everyone's like allowed to feel how they feel and deal with this in the way that works best for them. It's not like a this for that, or a competition of like who's been through the worst pain or who's had the worst. Like, everyone's got...
I feel like for myself, where I kept on comparing myself to other people, is like, it's not impossible to heal from the things I've been through. But I look at, like, there's a lady I follow on Instagram, she's a vegan, and she was saying how this year she ate so many vegan cookies, like her pH is way off. And I was like, at least she was eating vegan cookies. I was eating everything, like everything.
It's true. And I think that's what last time I was talking about comfort zone. Like, sometimes that's, like you said, you know, at least she's eating vegan cookies. Sometimes that's enough. Do you know what I mean? Because she could have went back to eating non-vegan food. But yeah, she's eating unhealthy, but at least she's ticking one box.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You gotta give people grace. It's just hard.
It was that me seeing her give into, I guess, the lack of discipline, but still be disciplined in some way, and feel like I'm not doing good enough in my healing journey. But
no, I don't feel like there's any such thing as not doing good enough in your healing journey.
Honestly,
it's just fake
like
expectations that people put on us.
2 days ago, I had to deep how hard it actually has been, because again, with smoking, if I'm at my mum's or I'm at dad's, they both smoke in the house and freely offer it to me.
Yeah. With
the sugar stuff, it's there. My mum keeps buying it. So I remember the other day, and this made me cry. I think my mum offered me sugar, and I said, I'm trying to stop eating sugar right now because I actually have an eating disorder. Like, I eat it to the point that I vomit, Mum.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, oh, okay. The next day, she comes home from work with a bag of sweets, and she's like, oh yeah, the whole bag is for you. I just want a lollipop. I said, Mum, you can't give a whole bag of sweets to someone who said she's suffering with an eating disorder.
Yeah.
She literally just went like this. I just went to my room and I was like, I don't know if it's me. I don't have an expectation of you to respond in a certain way, but I'm asking you for help in the sense of, don't give it to me. Even if you bring it in the house, just put it there. You don't have to tell me it's there.
Yeah.
When it's time that I'm feeling weak and I want to go and look in the box and I see it there, then maybe I have to have that debate. But you've intentionally brought this home, knowing, and I've told you that. So where do I go from here?
Yeah, it's disappointing when people can't support you the way you want to be supported.
Yeah.
Or when they're just a little bit ignorant to stuff, this way, what you need throughout that journey.
It's that. But then again, I know it's my responsibility, and so now I'm just like, I have to do it for me.
You have to do what makes you, well, I think doing what makes people happy, I think that's so overrated now. I don't think happiness is a destination. I don't think
It's
people
not.
get happy. I think you have peaks and troughs. I think you have moments where you might feel ecstatic.
Yeah.
But I think on the most part, it's just about being content.
It is.
But
happiness is all to do with your gratitude, and unfortunately, because the mind is so powerful, a lot of people have deceived themselves, and I've been in that space myself, which is why I can say it, deceive themselves into happiness. Again, all the stuff that I've been dealing with, I've just been smoking and saying I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm not. That's not happiness. It's
true.
not making me happy just because I'm not, like,
You're not
giving in
feeling
to my
it.
sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, on the most part, I've just been like, it is what it is. Like, I'm working on something, I'm going through a different life experience, I'm going through a different path.
Yeah.
So let me just focus on this, and get through this phase. But I've had a lot of just like external factors, and that's just thrown me off balance. It's like driving through turbulent weather.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to stay
Honestly,
focused on the road, and
I've been like, Ebony, keep calm during the storm, keep calm during the storm, keep calm during the
Right.
storm, because if I actually wild out, I'm gonna mess up everything that I've been trying to build for myself.
I'm over it. At this point, I'm like, I'm burning the whole house down. I just do it myself, and at least that way, I don't blame anyone.
It's that. I was watching a video today, and it's like, she was saying these bombs have been placed in different spaces of your life and different people. And some of them, you're going to see the bomb and be able to detonate it. And some of them, you're going to touch the bomb and be like, oh my gosh, I never want that bomb to go off again.
It's true. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. Yeah, it's tricky. I think this year has been really, really testing for everyone. And I think just in the current UK climate as well. Just globally, I think even with just like everything that happened in like, there's been like the wars in Palestine, there's been the elections in the US.
It's been so hard for me to go outside, and when I see certain things on social media, like,
Oh, I'm off social media.
I'm like, I haven't really been that much on it recently, to be fair, except from posting. But, because I was seeing things and I was like, how are you guys going on? It's not that everyone should be so consumed by all the stuff that's going on in the world, but be aware of it to the point where you don't seem ignorant. Not where you don't seem ignorant, but don't be ignorant. I don't know, I feel like people do take a lot of things for granted. And that's what made me stop hanging around so many people in the first place, because just the things that they prioritize and they value aren't real. Again, I was telling you before we came on live about how my auntie was saying the content that you make, no one really cares about it. They just want to know what's the new it thing.
Yeah.
And I said, how was I supposed to tell anyone the new it thing? I didn't even have money for food. Like, I don't know what lifestyle you wanted me to go on and portray. I was trying to, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't even going through real life. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm going through real life and I'm trying to show people, bro, like, when you're going through these times, because a lot of people do go through them, but they just mask through the whole thing. And then you can't turn it into something amazing and be like, wow, I really triumphed through that, because the whole time you was just pretending. You were still trying to keep up with the Joneses, and you was just all of those things.
For me, I just want to, like, I've always felt like my life hasn't been traditional, in the sense that I grew up in care, I had a child at 15, I've lived on my own. Oh, is that growing back? I rate you, that's some strong plant. They all died. I feel like one's growing back. I lived in, I had my son when I was 15, I lived in care, so I've always felt like my life hasn't been the traditional path, and I've always been okay with that. I haven't used it as a way to, like, feel like out of place, or feel like I'm lacking in anything, or feel like because other people have this traditional path that I'm somehow like I should have it too, if you know what I mean.
Like, there's something wrong with your reality because it's not the same as what we're told should be life.
I haven't allowed myself to believe that there is anything wrong with that. I'm just like, yeah, it hurts, yeah, it's difficult, but this is just my life. So I think for me, I started getting annoyed with social media because people started, well, a lot of the people that I was following and stuff anyway, started to make it seem like, well, if you're not living this traditional life, then
it's because of you.
Yeah,
and you need to heal to get into that
heal
life.
to get into
that's
that.
What that's not what healing is. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to come on here and say, like, I'm going to help you be the perfect woman for the perfect life, because it's up to you. What do you want?
I don't need to heal to like, I don't need to have this traditional, like, all of this stuff for me to fit into whatever society deems is what is, like, no, it's okay to, like, go through the things that I've been through, have the life that I have different challenges, and still be happy for other people who have these things. Like, everyone's life is different and everyone's been through different experiences, and it's not because I don't have this, like, traditional form of life that I'm somehow lacking in something, or I somehow need to, like, you know, bring all of those things into existence so that I can feel complete. Because what's to say that those things are going to make me feel complete? What if it actually makes me feel worse?
Exactly that. And it's all based on us as individuals. There's no set standard of how or who we should be. Do you know what? Remember last live, we were speaking about being feminine, and he was like, you're very feminine. Let me tell you why I didn't think I would. So, with going on social media, I'm running Cultured Ways. Yeah. It's like, I don't feel like the traditional woman to be telling people how to be a woman.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I went to an event to see a friend perform. I ended up getting on the lineup, but the guy who was running the event, I've gone to ask him, when am I performing? Why is she harassing me? I said, whoa. You need to calm down. So I've gone to my friend to calm down. Mm-hmm. And then he's come over and he's like, come, let me put you on the lineup before you beat me up. And I'm like, listen, it's actually not that deep. Like, when I speak, there's a bass in my voice, but I'm actually a very sweet girl. And this is why I don't feel feminine, because everywhere I go, people think I'm being aggressive towards them.
But there's also a lot of guys who don't know how to speak to women.
Yeah, that's true.
And they don't know how to, like, diffuse situations.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to, like, to change the energy.
That's what I'm trying to say. But if I go online, social media could make me feel like, oh, I'm just not woman enough. I'm not feminine enough. I need to dim my fire a little bit just so that, like, men can take to me. And it's not that.
Yeah, because you can dim your fire, but it doesn't mean the guy's going to speak to you any politely.
Thank you.
They might still be like, oh, why are you harassing me? Why are you no.
It's true.
So it's not, like, so easy.
It's just like, in that moment, automatically, I was like, oh no, like, Ebony, I don't want to get in, because this is the second event. That the first event, the organizer that I had like a little thing with, it was a girl though. But I don't want to have this reputation, in the music industry of like just being impatient. And I was trying to explain to my friend, it's not even that I was being impatient. I do events, so I have a certain standard that I expect. But
more importantly, it's like how they're prioritizing you.
Yeah.
Why do you have to keep asking them when your lineup's going to be and all of this stuff? If they know that you're going to be, surely they should be telling you that.
I'll be
rather
so
than
honest.
you having to chase them.
The guy is no serious. Even when I asked to be on the lineup, oh, you're cute, so I'm going to put you on. I said, okay.
See what I mean?
I said, okay.
And that's a lot of the time people are unprofessional. And
yes,
like,
very. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's like if you've left your house, you've gotten ready, you've rehearsed, you're preparing to be part of this experience. The least they can do is tell you what time you're going on the lineup before you get there. It's not too much to ask for, like reality. And then when you're asking, people want to be like, you're rude, etc. It's like, no, you're not. You're just trying to like be respected.
It's that
like,
thing of like.
Hello?
I wasn't, so after, I was saying to him, by the way, I wasn't trying to harass you, I'm trying to help you, because I said to him, do you have a list? Like, do you have a running order? I don't need your help, of course I have a list. Okay, now I understand, you're just in a space of thinking that you have to do everything by yourself, and it's not really working, but it's okay, it's fine. Yeah.
Or just that energy of feeling like you have to shout and...
Yeah, it's how you respond to pressure.
And be rude.
And all of us are not the same, so I'm gonna stop imposing my standard of myself onto him, because again, I've been in that very same predicament because I do the same thing. I just don't respond that way. And I was being cheeky yesterday. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'll never be in that position anyway, because I do have a running order. And even if things need to get changed and stuff, it's getting changed. And if someone asks me, I can show them, okay, boom, this is what's going on. Yeah. What had happened was, my friend was holding my phone. And so I kept on going over to him and being like, oh, I'm going on next. Because they told me I'm going on next.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't next. And it happened with like 6 people. But, again, in that space, it's like everything I do now, it's like, oh yeah, don't forget you're a woman. What does that mean? Why am I doing that to myself? Why does everything have to be in alignment with what it means to be a woman rather than what it means to be myself and what space I'm in and being aware of what energy I'm in and all of that stuff?
But I think it's also about allowing people to respect themselves. It's like, you know you're a woman.
Yeah.
So why do people need to remind you that no one reminds men that they're men?
That's what I'm trying to say.
So it's like, you know you're a woman, so why do people need to try and somehow make you feel like you're out of place or you're somehow alien to who you are? And I think we really have to start giving people the space to like respect themselves.
It's true.
And to bring the best versions of themselves without cutting them off, like using your judgment, like
definitely
giving your own opinions, and just give people like grace. Like, whatever happened to giving people grace to?
That's the point.
Be the
I
best
feel
version
like
of themselves.
the worst way I've experienced that recently is like a relationship I was in, and again to do with my family. So a lot of the stuff online that triggered me into changing was this whole thing about women being receptive and being the receivers and all of that stuff, which is fine. And so I started trying to work on that within myself, right? And being like, okay, cool, I never used to ask for help before. But then now I've gone to ask for help from my relatives or my family. I'm not even calling my family, my relatives. And it's like, they don't give from a space of love. They give from a space of either, well, I'm going to give to you so you can give to me, or for control. So if I ever want to accept help from them, it's going to have to come with, like, in the situation I've been this year, we're barely having money to eat and da-da-da-da. If I wanted money from them, I would have had to quit my business because they don't like me doing it. So for them, it's just, oh, well, that's your fault then. Do you know what I mean? And then it makes me feel like, okay, what's wrong with me? Like, why don't I get offered help in that regard? And looking at it externally, again, based on how women are supposed to be, I would feel like that was the issue with me. But then looking at it internally, that's the very same thing that kept me so driven in my business. So,
yeah.
like, I don't want to be told that I'm not a good woman, or I don't know how to be a woman because I'm not that good at receiving help. It's not like I'm not working on it, but it's not always that you should be receiving. A lot of women are in a space where they're receiving, but it's not from a space of love or anything healthy anyway. They're receiving out of necessity. They're doing things to receive that they, well, I can't say they shouldn't be doing it, but that I wouldn't necessarily do.
The worst thing is to ask for help and then have it thrown in your face.
That's all that I've been used to my whole life.
I've had
And I
that.
thought that was I thought that was normal.
I've had that happen to me. Like with my business, there were so many. I've had even people come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, apply for a loan. We'll help you get a loan." And then I've applied and they've rejected me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why did you tell me to apply for the loan?
Thank you.
Like, you should have never asked me to do that if you knew you weren't going to help me. Or I've messaged people to be like, "Oh, can you help me," etc. And they've blocked me. Or I've tried to open up to people and be like, "Oh, this is what I'm struggling with," and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they've used it against me.
That's
so it's like, after that happens so many times, you don't want to ask for help because you don't trust people.
That's,
and then when I look at the long list of people that I've actually asked for help and the people who've come through, it doesn't match.
At
so
all.
I'm like, why should I... Like, you have to have some respect for yourself at the end of the day as well.
That's the
like,
point.
and then people be like, "Oh, I broke it off."
Because I'm now coming into that space of realizing the list of people that I can ask for help and the list of people who ask me for help are two completely different lists. And so I can't keep on giving to people because I don't have people giving to me.
You get tired of it after a while.
Yeah,
So
stepping into that energy, I realise now, it's like I was trying to do it respectfully and kindly, but I'm going to be the villain to them anyway.
Can you put it back in?
Yeah.
For me, it's not even about being the villain. I'm just disappointed, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
it's just expectations weren't met. I'm the kind of person where I always, like, I think I put a lot of high expectations in people.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, you know, yeah, like, if this person will help, or whatever. But, and I've always known this, and I feel like it's a blessing and a curse. I've always known, you know, they say, "Oh, not everyone's got the same heart as you."
Mm-hmm.
I've always known that because I've always been, like, a loving and helpful person ever since I was young. And a lot of people have always, like, not given it back to me.
Yeah.
So I've never allowed it to stop me from still being, like, a loving and helpful person because I know that's who I am as a person.
It's true.
But then I think since launching my business, it's something that I don't want to do anymore because I just feel like it's a shame because people are not deserving of it, or people treat it into, like, they'll be like, "Oh, you're a people pleaser," or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not. Like, I actually just like helping people. Like,
That's the
being
point.
supportive.
I feel like now I can streamline it into my business and outside of this. Like, there's a guy that I went to uni with, right? And over the years, as I've been on this growth journey, he'll just DM me and ask me questions. And the other day, he DM'd me and he was like, "Oh, how did you open your heart chakra?" And I said, "Listen, if you want to book a 15-minute session, then book it here, okay? Because I can't just keep on giving you free life advice.
Yeah.
And finding out how you're doing and what's going on with you, and you never ever turn around to ask me, 'Hey, Ebony, how you doing?'
Yeah.
Like that.
It hurts.
It does.
It hurts when, like, yeah, I've had my fair share of trying to open up to people and not receive. Oh, I'm so tired of it.
Yeah. Literally. It's draining. Because now I'm carrying... It's because I care about you. So when I'm listening to you, it's not just so that you can speak to someone and go. Like, I genuinely will have so much empathy, like, I'm you. And I'm carrying what I'm carrying and carrying what you're carrying, because there was no receptiveness. And that thing of who you're listening to.
I
so
ruined it. I should have just... I'm going to go back to this colour.
Why?
Because I've ruined it. I put this
No, you
colour
didn't.
and then... Alright, I'll do a little bit more of this and then I'll go back to this.
I like it just because, you know, that gold colour,
Yeah.
it's like there's a layer of it on top of this pink.
Okay.
That's how I like the
I'll do
it
a
goes
little
into
bit more, and then I'll go back to that.
Okay,
To
cool.
those 2 bonds. So I've been enjoying my beads. I think they've been making my waist small.
Yeah.
I think my waist is not expanding, so I'm like that will help. What else? Yeah, it's like a body accessory, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just nice having it on, and having it there. So definitely, I've never had waist beads before.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've never had waist beads because sometimes they can have like a negative connotation.
They do. People associate it with witchcraft because it's to do with like energy and manifestation. So
Witchcraft or like just like
people generally
and
think
stuff
that
like
only witches wear waist beads, which again, the whole like even calling someone a witch, I get called a witch because I have very strong intuition.
In where I'm from, there's less of that. It's more of like promiscuous.
Yeah.
So you're perceived to be promiscuous, or you're trying to get attention from men. So
Yeah, there's that as well.
I was never allowed like waist beads. Was like, hell no.
Yeah, there's a lot of women who are like, my daughter can't wear waist beads until she's married. Which
But then if you're putting on weight, it's like put on waist beads.
it's
To
true.
keep the weight down.
That's the surface level why a lot of people use it now. But again, going back to ancient Kemet and ancient Yoruba tribes and stuff like that, it was to do with being spiritually connected to your own womb, which is where your intuition stems from, and having that like sharp knowing. So
It's true. Because have you ever read about like the moon and how it's connected to your periods and stuff like that?
yeah,
So there is a lot, and I feel like periods have such negative connotations now. Where actually
a lot of people just see it as a painful thing. Oh, we're women, why do we have to go through that? When it's actually cleansing.
or more importantly, you're just being moody. You're just like having perimenopause.
No, but I
Anymore.
You know when a woman is on her period, she's so susceptible to energy that's why we get pissed off. Because so many people are so used to just getting away with stuff. We can spot everything.
And
so
that's
we're very
why-
sharp and not really patient in that time.
And that's how my period has been for me. And I think it's also because going back to like not smoking.
Yeah.
Because when you're smoking, you numb a lot of stuff, so you don't feel a lot of things.
It's true.
But like being on my period now, I realise that it's probably one of my most like soul cleansing times, because I could clearly see like this is pissing me off. This is annoying me.
That's
like,
exactly
this is
what
wrong.
it is.
Like this situation is not right.
You
And
know,
something's
you're
messed
supposed
up
to use
here.
that. You're supposed to use that though monthly,
It's
each
like a
month.
guiding principle.
As a guide, this is how I didn't stay in certain relationships and certain situations for so long, because by the time my period comes and I can see her and feel all of that, I can't keep going through that.
I'm like,
every
wait, this is so. What are you doing? Like, I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Honestly, it can feel like it's you, and then when you actually realise, no, that is actually irritating.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then I feel like, who am I when I'm not on my period? It's like how people perceive you are on your period is how you are when you're not on your period. When you're not on your period, you're wearing like rose tinted glasses. You're like, and then you come in your period and it's like, hang on a minute.
Everything's in black and white, and it's like, huh?
What is going on here? What are you doing with your life? Are you serious?
Honestly. And that's why it comes out so sharp, and they just say that
It
we
does.
have an attitude problem.
Yeah.
and all of these things.
But
And it's
actually,
like,
you be seeing stuff. You're
Thank
like,
you.
no, this is
Thank
not
you.
going right with my.
Well, remember, as black women, we've been like, society has always made us just take
Angry.
what we're given.
Yeah,
And then call us
negatively.
angry.
Yeah, and it's annoying now because now black women call other black women angry black women. Like we're perpetuating the same.
These pick me black women, yeah, sorry. I don't even like to disrespect anybody. But these women who are happy to, I guess accept breadcrumbs in certain arenas of their life, which is like what I was trying to say to you when my auntie said that she was praying for me to have the same thing as her. And I don't want that because it's not healthy. You're not happy. Why would you pray for me to be in the same situation and not be happy as well?
Yeah.
Don't give that to me.
And I feel like sometimes people watch you going through stuff, but it's like, how would you feel if this was you? Like, how would you like it if you were in the same seat?
That's what I'm
and
trying
you
to
were
say.
going through it, and
it's one of those things though where she's in that situation, right? And I've been in that situation. And I left it because it wasn't for me. But again, now I'm just showing you that you have a choice to leave. But for certain reasons, I know she's not going to leave. She's very comfortable there. What she actually said to me, was she thinks I should just stop doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. She thinks I need a break. Mm-hmm. And she's very much okay not having, like, people ask her, aren't you worried about not having anything of your own? And she's fine. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. That's okay for you because you found not love, but you found security with your husband. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because he takes care of everything and you don't have to want for anything.
Yeah.
But then there was a movie, they was watching a Nollywood movie and the guy is having a dream about being with this woman and he's woken up and she's not there. And she said it gets like that sometimes. And I no one's paying attention to this, innit? I have to pay attention to everything in the room. And I felt so sorry for her because she's been in this marriage for how long now and you don't feel love in there.
Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're settling and then you want everyone else to settle so that you can feel more comfortable where you're settling.
That's sad.
It is.
That's sad. Yeah, I just feel like there's definitely been instances where I have felt like, where is the sisterhood? Where is the like you wouldn't want to be in this, where is the empathy? Like you wouldn't want to be in this position. You wouldn't want to be going through the same thing that somebody else is going through. If this was happening to you, how would you feel? And I feel like as women, I think we said this last time, I think there's a lot of like shared empathy.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, if a guy is like being a dog, you share that empathy with like your other female friends because they're like, I know what that feels like that's just wrong.
It's true.
So I feel like when women encourage that or when they support it or when they're in favour of it, I'm like, where is your empathy? Like, who would you want to be in this situation?
I used to be like that, you know, because I used to be friends with the guys more than the girls. But then I always had my, I don't know, I felt like I had to pay for my sins in that. And that's why I didn't complain when certain things happened to me in relationships. I was just kind of like, it kind of serves you right. I used to have this friend that I met at property summer camp. And then when I got to Coventry, he was at uni there. And he used to literally, I'm really good with my words, innit? Obviously, I'm a poet. He used to piss off girls and be like, Ebony, can you please write something? And I'll be writing all these different messages for these different girls for him. And then one day I was just like, Ebony, why would you even do that for him?
Yeah.
Like, for me, I always looked at, I can see the brokenness in black men and where they need love, but they go about it in such a disgusting way that I can't excuse that anymore.
I think there's women that also allow them to do so.
Yeah.
So just like how you said, like you would write the stuff and all of those things, there is women that would encourage that and that support it, and it's not like trust me, this year I've just seen black women do the wildest things and I'm like, wow, like you lot are ruthless. I hope this karma don't come back to you because this is absolutely ruthless. Like, you know what's going on, you know what people are trying to do, and you're just entertained, like you're enabling it. You're actually enabling it.
That's true.
And I think it's these kind of things that's been more painful, and that makes it harder to heal than the actual instances itself. It's when you think about how people have acted towards it, how people have allowed it, how people have like enabled so many things, and you're just like, wow,
I feel like I've gotten to a space in my life where I've never had anybody fight and back me up in my corner. I was thinking about this the other day, yeah. When I was in year 11, me and my friends got excluded. I've never been excluded from school before, except from like my first school in year 7. But from my move to my dad and he started beating me, I never got excluded. My sister had an argument with her friend, yeah. And my stepsister knows that I'm from Hackney, innit? And I got a certain crowd that I move with. Even though I'm a nerd at school, like, there's certain people who show me respect because they know where I come from. So she's had an argument with her friend and she's like, oh, can you and your friends come to my school after school? I've come. One of my friends has slapped her friend and she's banged her head on the pole and her nose is bleeding.
Oh no.
My stepsister has gone with her friend the next day at school and reported all of us.
Oh no.
After she called us and started the whole thing.
Oh no.
Not my dad, not anybody had anything to say in my corner. My friend who actually hit the girl lied and said that it was me because if she got excluded again, she was going to get kicked out of school. In the meeting with my head teacher, my dad's just there like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this girl. And I'm like, this is the first time I've been in trouble in 4 years. What are you talking? Like, it was just always that thing of Ebony's the problem. Ebony's the problem, Ebony's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in this space of like, okay, I don't care who calls me a problem or not. And first, I felt bad about it. But now I don't, because I realise there's going to be people in the world who are against what I'm doing, who are against what I'm saying, who don't agree, and who are going to paint me out to be the villain. I went to V Roberts' event the other day, and this lady, she's the CEO of Jamaica Valley. They was running a tyre company in Jamaica and bringing second-hand tyres over. And they was better than all the other big manufacturers over there. So they formed an association called the New Tyre Association and started spreading rumours saying that her tyres was causing road accidents and closed down the women's business. So when I say that I'm ready for the fight that the world has against black women, I'm ready for the fight that the world has.
Include black women as well.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's toxic.
It is.
It's toxic.
Because instead of us, there's the ones of us who are like, okay, cool, if no one's going to have us, let's have us. And then there's the ones of us who are like, oh, well, I need to get mine, so I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon. And I've seen that I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon because it happened too many times. It happened to me when I was working in Coventry. I did how many projects there for how many years. I do the final project. I fall off a bit because of stuff that I was going through.
Yeah.
And everybody jumped on the let's bully Ebony bandwagon.
Yeah.
And now because I'm not in that space anymore, slowly, this person here is saying hello. This person here is liking this. This person here is checking my page. Don't do that now because you lot was all ready to drive me to my suicide.
But a lot of people, I've realised that, like, it's sad, but most people don't want you to be like, they don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to, and the worst thing that can happen is when people who don't want you to be happy get an opportunity to actually bring you down. I didn't like, they'll run for it, do you know what I mean? They're 100%. Like, well, I never liked this girl anyway, so...
Do you know what the worst part is though? Because I have such a big heart, I will feel bad about it. I'm looking now at everybody who kicked me when I was down, yeah. And I'm just like, do you know what? You're never gonna go up the way that I'm gonna go up. So what? I don't have beef with you anyway. Whatever you thought you was doing, you're not doing over here. So,
yeah.
Like, I can't do anything but feel sorry for you. And then it's, oh, who does she think she is? What do you want from me? You want me to keep on being in that victimized state? You want me to... It's so people in my family that was bullying me thought that I was gonna feel so alone and isolated that I was gonna come back for more bullying. How does that make any sense?
It's sad. It's sad because what they don't realize is that, like, for me, I've been bullied. Like, I know what bullying feels like. From when I was in primary school, I got bullied because my name was Winnie. People used to call me Winnie the Pooh. Do you know? Yeah, because like. It was young kids.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna say. That's
so like when I was in primary school, it was like, oh, we need to pay, all of this stuff. Yeah. When I was in secondary school, I got bullied because I was pregnant. Do you know what I mean? I remember getting on the bus, like people would talk about me and do all of these things and like laugh behind my back, make jokes, all of this stuff.
Makes sense.
When I was at college, I got bullied because I was a baby mum. Like, oh, she was a baby mum. I actually had a fight with this girl because she was cussing me out. She was trying to make me seem like I was a hoe.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's...
So, and...
I don't even know anything.
When I was at uni, I got bullied because I didn't write, like, not bullied, but just like discredited because I didn't write in a certain way, or because I wasn't like your average 18-year-old who just left home, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, I've been bullied for my whole life. I know what it feels like to have people like look down on you or mistreat you, or
this is why everything that is happening right now in my life, like who I am, what I'm doing, nobody expects it from me. Because even when I used to get bullied at school, I never used to say nothing.
Yeah.
Not like, there was one girl who used to bully me, and they used to bully me because my name's Ebony, and everyone just knows Ebony from porn. That was it.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's so bad.
In year 7, literally my first French class, this boy,
why do you know Ebony
he
in
called
year
me
7?
he called me a boner from there for the rest of the 5 years. I was just a boner. But yeah. And obviously I had a big bum and all of these things, but I was so insecure I didn't even know when the boys liked me, because they was bullying me to show me they liked me as well. But this girl, so I started getting male attention from some boys I had crushes on, and da-da-da. Obviously, I had my first sexual experience when I was like 3. So by the time I'm in year 9, and me and this boy are spending all day with our form tutor, because we both got trainers on. Our form tutor is a PE teacher, so we're by the changing rooms, da-da-da. Whatever's going on over there. He's gone and told everybody. So now I'm in the library. No, the boy.
Yeah.
So now I'm in the library just doing my textiles work by myself.
Yeah.
And one of this girl's minions has come, and she's like, oh, Thingy's calling you. So I've gone around the corner, and there's like 20 people sitting there. It's all the cool black kids. And she's just picking on me. They're like, oh, talking about my shoes, talking about my clothes, talking about this, talking about that. I used to have this one friend called Becky. She was a lot bigger than me, but she used to give me her clothes because I didn't really have clothes like that. Even school clothes. My dad used to buy them either way bigger so that they'll fit years later. And then obviously they got too small.
Yeah.
So they were just talking about all of that stuff. They were talking about the stuff with the boys. And I literally just stood there, waited for a bit. I said, are you done? Then I went back to my work. And that's been me. Every time anybody said anything, I just said, okay. And that was me.
You're brave. I wish I should still run away from it. I had an instance like that happen where I had this incident with this boy, and the next day he told the whole school, well, his sister told the whole school, and it was so embarrassing. Like, I went back, I just ran away, I went to go stay at my cousin's house. I didn't want to go to school, it was just so embarrassing. And yeah, just a lot of just those instances where people just toxic.
Literally. But again, that was secondary school. I didn't know that in my adult years I would be facing the same kind of things.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be dealing with the same things like years later. But it's really interesting because I went to this talk and I was listening to Candice Brathwaite, and she mentioned something about like, you know, like how black women would never, because I think she had a difficult relationship with her mum. And she was saying how she's always been set up to be hated by black women.
Yeah.
Because she had that. So it's not like, you're not hurting me. Like, this is already, do you know what I mean?
It's something that I'm used to, and I'm just like, it
and that resonates.
It feels so weird. Like, why should I be used to that?
It is sad. It's sad when you feel like, it is sad. And when she said it, and it resonated with me, and I was like, it is sad to be used to being, you know, disrespected or looked down on, or like being mocked, whatever, by black women. But when you've had that same experience
so many times, it does become a norm.
It's not even something that you flinch at anymore. And then it's these kind of things that also makes me feel really uneasy, and I'm like, can I trust this person? Can I work with this person? Like, are they like genuine, and all of this stuff? And yeah, so yeah,
it's a lot. Navigating, building a business, navigating friendship, navigating relationships.
And they say like, oh, you shouldn't, you know, get your emotions and stuff involved. But I feel like that's so fake, because there's a lot of people who are like best friends with their business partners, best friends with people that they work with. There's people who work with their partners.
That's what I'm trying to say.
How can you say there's no emotions? Like,
that's
so what you're building.
Whenever someone tells me to take my emotions out of it, I'm like, so what do you want me to do? Because
it's not even like, I can understand it. Let's say, for example, if we're negotiating, you can take your emotions out of it in the sense that you can think about like what's going to benefit both people, where's the money going to come in, all of this stuff, etc.
Definitely, but that's because
don't tell
you
people,
have emotional intelligence.
Yeah, but it's like, don't tell people that there's no emotion in business, because when you win, you go for toasts, you have hugs, you do all of these things.
Even at your lowest.
At your lowest, you
I'm not gonna
people,
lie,
you
especially
support
for
people.
women. So to me, your intuition is based on like your intuition communicates with you through your emotions. And so I need to use my emotions to navigate through business, because if I don't trust that feeling that's saying, Ebony, this is not someone that you're going to want to work with, then I'm going to have to learn that the hard way.
Exactly. And I just feel like people they just chat shit on.
They do.
People just chat shit, because I'm like, every day you're expressing emotion. Every day you're like, whether you're happy, you're sad, you're this, like, you're expressing.
But a lot of people are in denial about those emotions. And it's because they're either looking at things online and feeling like, oh, that's not my life, so let me pretend it is, and then live in this fake happiness. Or they're actually living the life that they're seeing online, and they thought that it was going to bring them happiness. But they don't have real relationships around them. It's actually horrible. Like, again, coming into the music industry,
I think there are some real people out there, but they're not the majority.
Definitely. That's it.
They're not the majority, and they don't talk. They're just happy living their life.
That's the point.
So they don't talk about it. They don't really share it. And I've also realised, because I think a lot about, ever since I started running my business, I've been thinking a lot about, like, the closest thing I can compare it to is probably like musicians and people that I've admired throughout my career.
Yeah.
And I think about people who've been really good and really successful, but they haven't been in the public eye. For example, like Frank Ocean, you know? And then there's people who are like, that have been in the public eye, but they've really struggled with it. So like Amy Winehouse, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there's people who have like risen to fame, but they couldn't handle it, and they've gone off and they've even died. You know, like Liam and people and all of this stuff. And it just makes me realise how the business world is the same.
It is.
And I feel like there are some people that you don't want to, like, sometimes I feel like similar to like Frank Ocean, in a sense where you can be really good, but because you don't want that limelight and you don't want that, you can be like, F this.
Yeah.
I don't want this.
That's what I'm going into. And then it's like, okay, cool. Ebony, acknowledge the fact that because I was in this deep, dark space of going through all of this while I'm trying to build, I didn't acknowledge the fact that I was carrying light. And so every light is going to attract light, but so is the dark. And that's going to come. And if you're not aware of it, and if you're not in a space of realizing that not everybody is carrying the same light intentions as you, then they're going to finish you. And this is how the fame and all of that stuff. There's been new artists who have been speaking about, like, more well-known artists who are like, these people just seem fake. It seems like because I was on the up and coming, it's like, oh yeah, I should work with that person, and then they're missing, they're gone. And that's it.
And I feel like it's great if you can do both, you know, if you can be that Beyonce, that Rihanna, like, it's great if you can be that person, but it's not everyone can. Just it's like true. In the same way in the music and the stuff industry, not everyone makes it that big. Do you know
and
what
you
I mean?
don't have to.
And that's it. So I'm just trying to feel like, what kind of artist do I want to be, like, and how much am I willing to sacrifice to be that kind of artist? Do you know what I mean? Because if you want to be the one that's loved by everybody, you're going to have to put up with a lot of stuff. And if you want to just focus on your craft, then you're going to have to put up with, like, other things.
Yeah.
And it might take for you to just be MIA, like Adele, for like 20 years, and then just pop out and then be like, this is it.
Yeah. Obviously.
And then just pop out, and just like, it's actually made so much sense to me why so many people, because I don't ever want to be like for everyone. And I'm okay with
Same.
that. And I think it's also like other people being okay with you being that. You know, so for example, if we think about Michael Jackson, like everyone wanted him to be, even Whitney Houston, you know, everyone wanted them to be this big artist because they were good.
Yeah.
So they wanted them to be like, be big, go large, let the whole world see you, whatever.
It's true.
Look what it did to them. Like, look what it did to them.
This is why me and music.
Whitney Houston
We're
is
not the
dead.
best of friends. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
And have you seen her documentary? Like, she was never really
I've
about
seen
that
it.
limelight. And it was when, obviously, they heard her voice and she was so great. And, you know, she was like the bodyguard and this and that and this
This
and
is
that.
what I'm trying to say.
Look where it drove the woman.
You know what breaks my heart the most is that these are all very driven people who, of course, wanted to change their situations in their lives, and they fell into the hands of people who knew that and manipulated that and told
didn't
you,
know how to handle them properly.
do this, do that. They don't actually, you know. Yeah, I know someone. I know someone who's a big artist in it, and through his whole career, I've seen him like. So I watched him blow up, and then I've seen him a couple times in and out of that journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only time that he had like someone actually looking out for his emotional well-being.
Yeah.
There's nobody around that guy who's actually, are you okay? Are you sure?
That's so sad.
It's just
But I bet a lot of
everybody.
people making money out of him. That's so sad. And I realised like it's how these people got so like how they destroyed themselves.
Yeah.
You know? It's literally how these people destroyed themselves. Whereas if they were given a little bit more freedom to grow in their own pace, they could have been
Freedom
more
at
like
your own pace. It's
Prince
the foundation that we came from in terms
Shaka
of.
Khan, you know.
I know if I put my parents in charge of my
Right,
music
yeah,
career,
yeah.
they would have sold me off to the highest bidder.
Listen, my parents.
They would have sold me to the highest bidder like that. I'd be like, yeah, do what you want with her. Just make sure the check is coming every month.
Honestly, I
Like-
already know my parents are doing my
Yeah.
no question about
This is what I'm trying to say, and the whole thing and having to navigate it by yourself is scary, man.
no question about They literally would have been like, take her. We've been sick of her
It's
anyway.
so scary.
She's not doing anything with her life. Just take her.
Thank you.
So yeah, so I definitely feel like when I think of it in that context, I'm like, this is so messed up.
It is.
Like, so I'm just thinking like, who do I want to be? Like, do I want to be someone where, because I'm great, do I want to allow people to kind of like drive me to a place where I'm unhappy, or do I want to be like, yeah, I'm great, but actually I don't have to do a lot of these things. I don't have to be
That's what it
all
is.
there everywhere.
I just want everybody to know that they have that choice to make. So if
Yeah.
you do end up in a certain situation, you can say, okay, well, I made that choice, and not, well, this person said that this, and you just got lost in all of that.
But I also feel like with the community that I'm in, people don't respect that.
Yeah.
Because I can say like, I don't want to be all there everywhere, and then it's like, oh, but you're not networking, oh, but you don't know how to do business, oh, but you're operating from your ego or whatever.
It's not
And
an
it's
ego.
like-
It's
No, not necessarily.
Thank you.
I just don't want to be everywhere. Like I don't want to be in all of these places, but
Literally that.
people will then use that against you, or they will try and use that as a way to show how you're not collaborative or you're not this, you're not that. But that's not the case, because if you called me and you're like, oh, do you want to work on this? I'll be like, yeah.
Thank you.
But I shouldn't have to be somewhere or be seen talking to someone
because
to-
there's
to
so
prove
many.
that.
Yeah.
and collaborative, because that's not really collaboration.
There's so
Collaboration
many-
is like, give me the work.
Do you know what this
Collaborate.
year? V Roberts said something the other day. She said, you won't see me go to an event and start taking pictures with everybody. I don't need to be in pictures with everybody. I don't want to either. I met someone at one of her events earlier this year, and she was like, oh my god, she wants to help me, da 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 da. She's been giving me free coaching, all of these things. I started off with her. Every time I see this lady, something will happen, and I was like, no, this lady does not like me. But she's buying me tickets to go to this networking event, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to help you. I've met her at some event, and I kid you, she's looked me up and down, like, why are you hair dressed like that? And I'm like, nah, this lady doesn't like me at all. She had a birthday party, and obviously she's invited a couple different people in her network. And then I realised you're you're trying to buy your way into the club, and it's not that. Like, you can't buy my friendship. It's not, like...
I've had people trying to help
New
me.
levels, new doubles.
Exactly, it is. And it's like, I've had people trying to help me, but it's like, you're not helping me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's say, for example, if you told me you were dealing with, like, for example, you said, like, oh, you don't have money and you're trying to, like, sort out your trauma.
Yeah.
And there's an event going on and I've got money and I know that you're trying to deal with your trauma. I'll be like, oh, Ebony, here, I got you a ticket. Or let me give you a free ticket. Let me do all this stuff because I know that this is going to benefit you. This is going to help you. Do you know what I mean? But I've been in situations where people have been like, you belong here, whatever. You know I can't afford to be there. You know I can't be there. So why wouldn't you just tell me, just give me a ticket or actually help me or give me a call?
That's what
instead
I'm
of trying to be like, this is fake. Like, you're so fake. You're not actually trying to help me. You're trying to help yourself.
Not at all. It's salesy. I'm going to manipulate you because I know what situation you're in. And I know that it's going to sound like something. And I don't know what you're going to do to get the money and but I don't really care. That I can see through that as well.
It's those types of people that I want to stay away from. And they'll be the same people that be like, oh, join our community, but we care about you. You care about me. If you cared about me, you'd call my phone and helped me. You don't call my phone. You don't care about me. Care about yourself. Get over it, man. You see someone walking down the street literally with their pants down. Instead of going up to someone and being like, hey, put your pants up. You're taking pictures and be like, oh, look, this person's walking down the street with their pants on.
No, but literally.
Go up to the person and tell the person to put their pants up.
That's it though, and that's the kind of society that we live in where a lot of things are now for show. That lady that I said was buying me tickets for this and that, she just started tagging me in any LinkedIn post. Nothing to do with me, but she'll tag my name. This is when I said, what are you actually doing and what do you want over here? Because to me, I don't feel like I've got something to give you because I'm not seeing my own self-worth and value. You're looking at me and you're like, oh, Ebony.
Yeah.
And
I can't trust you.
That's the point.
So I don't want to open up to you. I don't want to tell you the things that I'm dealing with. I don't want your help because
people take it personal sometimes. Some guy that we did like a service swap. He phoned me the other day. He was like, oh, if you feel like you need someone to talk to, I just said thank you, but no thank you because you were just talking so much rubbish about this other girl that I was working with. Why?
And that's how I feel as well. I've seen people like bring other people down to lift other people. And I'm like, you expect me to trust you? You think I can't see what you're doing? You think I can't see the way that you're trying to tear people down?
We was on the phone one day to talk about the service swap.
Nice.
And he's like, thank you. He's like, oh, so what are your plans? Like, what do you want to do? What are your goals? I'm like, so I think I said like one or two, but very general. Then he called me again another day. So what are your plans or your goals? I said, I'm not being funny. I don't have time for this right now. So then when I saw him to do the service swap, he was like, oh, you was really shady with me. I just asked you what your goals are. No, you're not.
Nosy.
Yeah, you're being nosy. And you want to know what gone. And you want to go and tell people, oh yeah, that's my friend. We're not friends, bro. Like, honestly, first I was like, Ebony, don't be rude. Now I'm just like, just tell the truth because I don't have time for it.
I don't even know who people are anymore.
Thank you.
Is it just me? Is it them? And that's why honestly, I'm beating myself up because I'm like, Winnie, are you the problem? Is this the problem? Like, what is going on here? I'm like, what is this?
Because I'm so comfortable in my solitude now, it's like, if I have you around me, it's really because I want to. And I think people take that for granted. Like, a lot of people can't be by themselves. I don't want your nonsense over here because it's going to give me a headache.
But that upsets me. It's like human beings need other people. Like, I actually thrive when I'm with people. Like, I like being with people.
Same.
But if I'd much rather be in solitude than be with you, then that's messed up.
I'm
sorry. If I'd much rather sit in my house by myself,
thank you,
than be amongst you lot, then there is a problem.
I have to come up with excuses as to why I'm not coming to Christmas.
I'm like, there is a problem here because I'm not. I always say, like, I'm not an introvert. You know, people be like, oh, you're an introvert.
Yeah.
I'm like, not really. I don't think I'm an introvert. I feel like I am an extrovert, but I have to be around
the right company.
Yeah, and it just can't be just fake, man.
I know.
But yeah, anyway, it's almost 5 minutes to 9. It's been an hour and a half. We've been chatting. We haven't even cleaned any products. We've just been chatting this whole time. I'm beading.
This is what we do in my workshop, essentially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And we all just hill.
It's quite
we just open up about it. Yeah. Because now it's like all these thoughts have been wavering in my head, but now I feel so much more solid in myself. I'm not a bastard.
Yeah.
This is actually real. So yeah.
Yeah, it's important. I tell myself that a lot, but you know when it's like 2 against 1.
Yeah.
So you can tell yourself like, no, I'm not this person, blah blah blah. But then 4 or 5 people come together and be like,
because they're all,
and you're like,
when we're a part of the few, not the many, and so the many are always gonna point their fingers at us and be like, look at them, and we're just like, but look at you guys, you can't actually be.
This stuff has really had me evaluating like what I want the next 30 years of my life to be like.
Same.
Where I want to be, who I want to be around, what I want to associate myself with.
I'm about to go ghost on so many people that I was just, not even just tolerating, but still upholding my end of the bargain, even though you let yours down how many years ago.
Yeah.
I don't have time to keep on carrying that anymore.
Yeah.
And you can say that it's because of this or because of that. Like, the one that I didn't want to happen was, I started recognizing all of these things when I tried to be in a relationship, right? Or when I started thinking about being in a relationship. Then I was like, I don't want to be one of those women where it's just about my man, it's just about my man. And it's not just about him, but that's the thing that I'm built, that's within my household, that's my immediate environment. And that's important to me. So my old friends can say that it was because of this or because of that they got left behind. But it wasn't, it was because of you.
Yeah. I started my healing journey in like 2022. So like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started off just prioritizing myself. I didn't really even get a chance to think about who I want to be in a relationship or what kind of relationship I want to have.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of been sprung on me, and I've had to think a lot about who I want to be as like in my business, who I want to be as like in a relationship. Like, I've had to figure out a lot of really big things in like a short space of time.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really like my goal, you know. I was like, when I started my healing journey, I was just like, I'm going to focus on myself, like do what I need to do, get myself to a good place, and then get my son to a good place.
Yeah.
And then put myself out there, because by then I will at least know the kind of relationship I want to be in, the kind of person I want to be with, because as you heal, your preferences change and how you want to be treated and all of these things change. So I wasn't really trying to like be in a relationship in the state that I was in. I was like, let me give myself the time to figure out who I am and whatever, and then put myself out there.
Same. The only thing I would say is that we forget that healing is an ongoing journey, and you're gonna heal through those relationships as well, and through those experiences.
And that's another reason why it's also been challenging, because when I did feel like, okay, maybe there was somebody that could help me heal, they then ghosted. So I was like, okay. So
honestly,
maybe not.
Honestly,
I'm like, maybe not. It's like you don't win either way.
It was so irritating, because it's like I started opening up a little bit, Then I realised how afraid of it I actually was. And then, like, we both decided to take that time apart. Then I came back ready, and it's like, he's not ready yet. And I'm like, okay, so what is going on? What am I supposed to do now?
What is going on here? And it's just like, it's so long because I was just like, well, I wasn't really ready for this in the first place.
Exactly.
And if you just communicate better, then you probably would have found that out. But
that's the point.
You live and you learn, man.
You
live and you learn.
Yeah.
This year has been learning. I'm just glad that I made it this far because it's been challenging.
It has, honestly.
It's been challenging.
Honestly.
What are you looking forward to in 2025?
I'm gonna take a trip somewhere. I don't know where. But
where do you want to go? Have you been to Latin America?
No.
I want to go somewhere far. I want to go to like Panama or something.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I need to go somewhere where there's like a different culture.
I don't really. I really want to go to Thailand.
Because going there, but I still feel like that's still Western. I don't want to go anywhere where people use Instagram. You know, where people like go on holiday.
Temples and meditate. I ain't even gonna touch my phone when I'm out there.
I don't want to go anywhere where people are posting Instagram pictures.
No,
I feel like Thailand is still like, oh, you know, go to this resort,
but that's because
go to that place. Go to
it's based on the people. Like a lot of people go to
Thailand. Everyone is like
that
now. Black, white, Asian, Chinese. Everyone's the same now.
Sometimes I catch my, because I do content creation. Sometimes I'm like, Ebony, that's not content. Like, just put your phone away. And now I'm being more intentional with it. But yeah.
I want to go to like Brazil. You know where you can go to like the hoods and
intentional with it. But yeah.
I want to go to like Brazil. You know where you can go to like the hoods and go.
Yeah. Someone was like, you got a vibe about you. I said, listen, I just see in real life. That's it. So I don't go anywhere thinking I'm better or thinking I'm less than anybody because we all go through real life. And people forget that sometimes. They think that if their struggles are different to somebody else's, then it makes them better or it makes them worse off, and then they move from that space. And it's like, no.
And that's what I liked about being in South Africa. I went to South Africa. When did I go to South Africa? In 2023, I think.
Yeah.
And it was like being around like school kids, young people, all of this stuff, and just sorry, I'm just going to record some of this. No. And just remembering that there's people out there in the world who don't live life the way we live life. Thank you. They're not caught up in this matrix. Where it's just like everyone's the same.
We get it from school, like in this country especially. I don't know what it's like to go to school outside of the UK, but here, all of that, the toxic culture, everyone has there's one way to be, right? All of that gets indoctrinated into us from school. And then as soon as you leave, or for some of us it starts early, because we notice it earlier, but you have to start unlearning those things straight away and be like, no, I'm going to be myself.
And I don't know if it's toxic or if it's just the culture, you know.
I can say,
yeah, you can say, yeah.
I think they literally raised us to build their economy.
Yeah, but that's in most Western countries. Like, yeah. I don't even think that's the problem. I think the problem is what is beneath that. And I can say that from like raising my son, because I know how I wanted him to be, and I know a lot of the habits that he's then picked up in school and through life and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, and that's got nothing to do with even the economy, or, you know, it's just how it's changed his character, how it's made him interested in certain things, all that stuff. And I think that's the toxic side to it, how people conform to certain personalities and certain behaviours that isn't healthy even for themselves.
Yeah. You know? I met this lady at the bus stop, this auntie at the bus stop yesterday. She was speaking about how the world is just going the wrong direction right now. She was saying her grandchildren, they said it's only by the grace of God that they get through school. And I said, it's actually got to that stage. Because when I was in school, obviously I had friends who used to smoke after school and blah blah blah. But these kids are leaving school to go and smoke. And there's no, I don't even understand how.
Leaving school as in like bunking school.
Yeah, or they'll be in school and they'll just leave.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, this is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense, and it's because you've got everything based on the economy. You don't have teachers who are teaching because they want the future generations to thrive. You've got teachers who are teaching because they're gonna get paid this much per year.
Yeah. There's almost a small percentage of people that care about the well-being and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's interesting what's going to happen in the West, especially with like technology and how fast it's advancing, and like AI. Before we know it, it's going to be robots soon.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And if humans don't get any better, people are just going to be really comfortable living with robots and dealing with robots.
They are, because
like, humans are so shit. Like
when you actually have to use your emotions, people don't want to feel uncomfortable, and a lot of conversations are uncomfortable, even between like in loving connections or whatever. I always just think of relationships because that's the main thing I've been looking at, I guess. But like those uncomfortable conversations are gonna happen. There's gonna be times where you hurt someone that you care about, or where you say something that upsets them, and people don't want to deal with that. People are making it seem like if you go on a healing journey, then everything is going to be love and light all the time.
Yeah.
And it's not. And you can't remove yourself from the reality by replacing it with computers.
Yeah, it's true. You can't, and no one's perfect.
I know.
I think you have to like give people the time and space to grow. I think the best relationships is where people can grow together. And like lay out their flaws and be like, you know.
And you have to accept your flaws first in order to do that.
Bare it naked, be like, this is who I am, this is who I want to be, this is who I am, this is who I'm trying to be, and go through that journey together. I think when...
And just remind each other, not be... Well, you said that you was going to... Because my mum does that. You said you was going to do this, but you haven't done it. Especially with my eating. And so now I have a disorder, and she's like, oh, you said you was going to change your eating. Even, yesterday, she was like, well, I'm more disciplined with my eating. It's like you keep on trying to get one up on me when I've told you I have an eating disorder. You're not trying to help me build it.
Exactly.
You're now feeling like, oh, well, I'm better than you. I don't want to be around anyone who feels like they need to compete with me in that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm not competing with you.
And more importantly, it's like, help me and don't like make me feel bad for it.
But she needs to make herself feel better than me because I'm making her uncomfortable.
That's so toxic.
I know.
feel like, I don't want to, like, my thing is, it's like, if there's something that I need to work on, it's like, help me with it. Don't, like, make me feel bad about it, like it's some kind of character flaw.
This is why I don't know how to do anything without beating myself up.
Don't, like, then show what it looks like and be like, this is how you need to be, this is how you need, well...
Even with,
if that's
with
how I need to
her
be,
saying that she's disciplined, she's not disciplined. She'll buy a pack of donuts and eat 3 in one day. You're still where I got the habits from. Like, I started eating sugar as a child because of the things that was going on in my life.
Yeah.
And
you were buying it for me.
That's what I'm trying to say. From the sexual abuse to my mum being mentally ill at home, nobody knew. She literally used to come to my room just to bully me.
Wow.
My mum... I only started opening up about this recently. Until I was 19, I walked with my head facing the floor because my mum raised me saying you should be ashamed of yourself, look at the floor.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. But this is why
things parents have done.
Yeah. It takes a lot for me to build the confidence in myself, and
it's a lot of toxic things parents have done.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why, I think that's one of the challenges that I've had to deal with, because growing up, I was never like praised for anything. I always worked really hard and I was never praised. And I think this year it's been a huge trauma relapse, because I have felt, it's like, for example, like my mum wouldn't tell me directly that like, oh, you're doing well or whatever, but she might tell other people.
Yeah.
So I never got that affirmation within myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like one of the challenges I've had this year is working with people who they're not affirming to me, but they're affirming in other ways. And they're like, oh, but you're self-sabotaging because you're not taking praise, you're not stuff. But I'm like, you're not saying it to me.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, you're putting it up, putting it in the air, you're doing all this stuff, but no one has actually called me, picked up the phone and been like, hey Winnie, like, we're really proud of you, you've done really well, do you know what I mean? So I'm like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, honestly.
Because
this is what makes me... A lot of people are doing a lot of things for show. You don't need to go and tell everyone on social media that I'm doing well, because they're not the ones who are in this.
Like people
I don't need everyone else to know. I need it for me.
In subliminals, and it just makes me relapse, because it's just a reminder of what my childhood was like, and that's why I've been stuck in such like a fight or flight mode for a whole year, and it took me a while to realize like what's happening, like why is this reflecting my childhood so much, like why where is the correlation here? And then it finally hit me, and I'm like, Winnie, this is exactly what it was like. Imagine you're waking up every day, you're working hard, you're going above and beyond, you're doing all of these things, and no one's like, people can see it, but they're going on like they can't see it. Yeah. You know?
But the minute you do something that they don't like,
that's when everyone comes going in, saying all of these things.
That's true.
And that's what exactly it's been like. And it gets exhausting because it takes a lot to self-motivate yourself.
It does.
And what people
and
don't
you
realise...
celebrate yourself for your achievements, and you do notice every mistake that you make and focus on that so much.
Well, I think it's the opposite. I think you do celebrate yourself, but it's just that you've got no one to celebrate yourself with. I feel like self-motivation is a form of celebration. Because you're getting up every day, you're pushing, like you believe in yourself, but you just don't have no one to like toast with. Do you know what I mean?
It's true.
So I don't feel like, because if I didn't believe in myself and if I didn't think I was good, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't keep doing, do you know what I mean? I would like, because there's a lot of people who don't believe in themselves and they don't do anything. That's actually what it means to not believe in yourself. There's loads of people in their room like, I can't do it, I don't want to do it, I can't, like they don't even take that step.
That's true.
So if
I forget about that, you know.
Yeah, there's lots of people, like there's loads of people. I remember one of my ex-boyfriends who never did anything. I'm like, you haven't even tried.
Yeah.
What if you just try and see, you might actually be good at it, you know.
That's
so
true.
There's people who don't even try. They're so trapped that they don't even try. So if you're trying every day and you're pushing yourself, that is already a lot. Do you know what I mean? That is already such a big step. So sometimes I read things online and stuff, and I'm like, you people have no clue. You don't know how much motivation and strength it takes to like push forward when no one's clapping for you, no one's supporting you, no one's doing any of these things, and you're still waking up and you're still pushing through every day. That's already a lot within itself.
That is like the ultimate pin of resilience, though.
Exactly. So I'm like, to then tell people, I'm like, what do you want from us?
That's why I'm like, when people actually try to bother me or try to kick me down or try to do these things, at first I thought it was me, then I realized, no, this is really, really, really you, and I'm really, really irritating your demons right now, because there's no need for you to do that. I've never come to anyone like trying to show off or anything like that, so you have no way to feel like, oh well, she deserved it, or
it's toxic. And if people have the cheek to say like, oh, you're not confident, all of this stuff. I read a book that said being confident is doing your best every day, and that's it, just doing your best every day.
That's it.
So just because someone isn't loud or they isn't vocal or they're not talking about themselves all the time, it doesn't mean they're not confident. Like,
that's what I'm trying to say. The way that I talk about confidence in my workshops is a self-trust, and it's just you doing what you said you're gonna do, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it the best. It doesn't mean that you have to, I don't know, but you build up the self-trust, because it's like, do you know what, I said I was gonna try this thing and I tried it, and that's all that you can do.
And I completely agree with that, and I get disappointed so much when people are like, oh, you're not confident in all of this stuff, because I think to myself, I literally had a child at 15.
Yeah.
And I pushed myself to do all of these things. Like,
That's the
you
point.
wouldn't even do half of the stuff that I've done. Like, I still keep my head high, push through. I don't hide my sign. I don't not talk. Everyone knows I've got a child. Everyone knows how old my child is. All of this stuff. I don't like hide away from those things. So how can you say I'm not confident? Why? Because I'm not talking about it all the time and all of this stuff. It's like, that's not fair, because I've had to be confident in who I am and my experiences and the things that I've gone through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, that's a good enough starting point.
And that's what it is, though, because you've got to that space of self-acceptance. There's also the thing online. You know what you were saying the other day of where people are just healing online and they feel like that's something worthy of sharing, but that's for you to accept yourself, for you to know what you've been through, and for you to be aware of your triggers and all of those things. It's not for everybody.
I agree, and I feel like sometimes the people that are telling us to be confident, it's for themselves.
Yeah.
It's for how they will then get the praise and glory for that.
It's true.
Because I've been in situations where I've had people tell me, like, be confident, whatever, but that's because you want to then take the credit for it and then look like this is what you've accomplished. It's not really, it's for me, but it's also for you. So it's like we're sharing this goal, this ultimate goal that we're going to achieve through your efforts.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, go and do your own inner work.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like, no, that's not fair, because are you actually thinking about me, or are you doing this for yourself?
That's the point.
Okay, it's taken me 2 hours to do this. I wrote myself. I actually wrote myself. You've done like 5. I haven't even finished one. I haven't even finished one.
That's why.
And I'm like, this is my first time, so I'm quite proud of myself.
You should
No,
be.
it's been good talking. I'm just like, I just have a lot to think about over these next 5-10 days.
Same.
11 days of the year.
Literally.
I'm just trying to think, like, where am I going to...
For me, it's the... I've been half in, half out of this boundaries pool. But now I need to fully set the boundaries and be prepared for the backlash, we'll call it that. Because I feel like as soon as I say no, everything goes, like, every time I've said yes, or it's not even me holding on to the past, but I did so much for you before. It's just me trying to put myself first now. And seeing that you have such a problem with it.
Yeah.
But then you feel no way about putting yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny how things can crumble.
It's true.
Anyway, I think this would be... It's not
Enough.
exactly 1 meter, but I think it would be enough. And I think it's been exactly 2 hours.
Did you say 1 meter? I didn't cut them 1 meter today because we was making them for ourselves. I just did it maybe like 35 or something.
Okay, cool. So then I think this will...
Yeah, you can measure it around yourself and then we'll cut it and put it on.
I want these TikTok people to see my waist.
Look, my waist is a little bit sick right now, but...
That's what I do in the news tomorrow. Self-love is not putting yourself on TikTok. Do you even love yourself if you're showing your waist?
Do you know what's so funny? I'm doing a shoot in January. I'm not going to see anything more than that. I'm just doing a photo shoot. Do you want to be in my photo shoot? I'm looking for 4 models, but not just any models.
What kind of photo shoot is it? Do I have to show my body?
Not necessarily.
My body.
You don't have to, because some of the pictures we're going to do beads on top of clothes as well.
Okay.
So you can be our beads on top of clothes person.
That's fine.
But
I'll do beads on top of clothes.
I've challenged myself. If I show you what I was looking at, or I'll show you after on TV. I was like, are you really going to wear this?
Oh wow.
But I want to.
Oh wow. Yeah, I do beads because I don't really like putting my body on social media.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, why don't you upload all the pictures from your camera roll? Because I don't want to show my body. I'm not confident. Why? Because I don't post the news on Instagram.
It's not a confidence thing. It's everybody's choice of what they're comfortable sharing or not.
You're not confident if you're not posting all your... Are you serious?
Do you know what? Because I've got such body I never wanted to post it because I know what kind of attention is gonna come with it.
I don't want that for myself.
The kind of partners that I had in the past was so insecure that it just couldn't ever run. But right now, for me, I always have this conversation with myself of my ancestors, and even there's villages that exist now where they just wear wrapper and nothing else.
Yeah.
We come here born naked. Like, I'm so against clothes. If I could live, when I lived by myself, most of the time I was naked.
Yeah.
It's only because I'm at home with my mum, and if I'm naked, she'll say something or da. Like, I like being like that in my skin, and I don't think it makes me a whore, and it doesn't make me, like, when I meet people who aren't comfortable with sharing themselves in that way, I don't think there's something wrong with them.
Do you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Each to their own.
That's it.
Each to their own. Like, if you want to post your pictures, that's fine. If someone doesn't want to post their pictures, that's fine.
That's
too.
also fine.
It's not a case of like, oh, you're not confident because you're not posting all your holidays.
Like,
no, that's not how it works. It's not so black and white. Can we stop setting
even
false
like
standards on people?
With business and marketing, obviously that's what I'm doing now. So, like, when I approach people, I don't want them to feel like if you're gonna do your own marketing for your business, you have to go on live and you have to be in front of the camera and all of those things, because you don't. Not everybody does want to. It's just about telling the story of your company and brand, and you can do that in whatever way you want to because it's yours.
It's true.
That's with your life, that's with your business. Nice. It does.
The colours. I don't know how we got all of these colours to complement each other. With the beads.
Just alignment.
And stuff.
Yeah, chinny.
But yeah.
But yes, it has been a very open conversation. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm Ebony.
I'm Winnie.
And
Bead making special.
Yes, our Christmas special. If you're catching this on the replay on YouTube and you actually watched the whole thing, thank you. Share your comments, share your views in the comments or whatever people say to do. Basically, just engage in the conversation. That's all that I'm doing, by the way. I'm not telling you how to live your life. You might agree with me, might disagree with me. I don't mind. I don't need you to, like, point me in the right direction or anything.
Let me just go around.
Tears and finding it for myself.
And remind people that they can shop.
Yes, so I'm gonna be back on Boxing Day with an end of year sale, but I'm gonna be refurbishing the store before then. So we're gonna have some new products, we're gonna have some new prices, and all of that stuff, some new pictures. And then in the new year, I think I'm gonna be back every Sunday doing Bead and Chill. From 7:30 to 9 PM. So you can come and join us. You can buy your waist beads. And yeah, I think that's it for now.
Bye.
Bye bye.